if you watch this video, you might be wondering if Throne and Liberty is worth playing even if you are free to play and have a life outside the game. Let me explain. In a nutshell, in Throne and Liberty, there is, in general, a simple system of your cycle after you reach level 50. When you reach level 50, you have basically 3 things that you need to do. First is the co-op dungeons, which will be your dimensional contract tokens. Next is your abyssal contract tokens, which will be for open dungeons. These currencies are replenished by playing each other, mainly starting with your co-op dungeons. Each day you earn 880 dimensional contract tokens, which will allow you to go for more or less 4 dungeons. For those 4 dungeons, you will be able to earn abyssal contract tokens, which will you then be using at open dungeons. And when you also do your contracts, you will also earn abyssal contract tokens. Now, all those abyssal contract tokens that you earn from the daily will net you to an amount of around 4,000 to 5,000 abyssal contract tokens, which just takes up around 30 minutes of your time when farming an open dungeon. If you are newer to the game and does not understand how this works, I will be making a separate video about this. But what you need to understand is that there is basically no daily gameplay loop for Throne and Liberty. For contracts, you will be mainly focusing your character on these 2 parts of the map after level 50, which is Pure Light Tower and Watcher's Post, where you will be able to gain specific items that will help you progress your characters for the quote-unquote endgame, and this will be replenished 10 times per day, but the maximum cap will be at 60 and you can do 5 simultaneous contracts at once. That means that you can not play for 6 days and will still be able to not waste any contracts as long as you finish them before they overcap. These contracts will be your quote-unquote daily for this game, which allows you to gain abyssal contract tokens and allows you to farm dungeon items and will allow you to progress your late game. But in a nutshell, basically your gameplay requirement of time, quote unquote, will mostly be capped if you don't play for 3 or 5 days straight. If you log on and off every other day or every 2 days, you will still mostly be fine and will not lose anything. Although I must say that you will lose very simple stuff if you don't log in daily, like your ingredients for food that you can only buy daily, golden rye, honey, and egg, and your guild pots and selection materials. Although this will impact your late game experience, this will not destroy your character's progression at all, and at the great grand scheme of things will not even slow you down that much. So that ultimately means that if you don't have all the time in the world to play this game, it will really just catch you up. Most of the things that you will need to farm, especially in the quote-unquote current late game, are things from the co-op dungeons, which you can just do anytime you want. You can farm epic items like this. This is one of the late game and even end game items for greatsword users, or this dagger, which is also one of the best daggers at the late game, which you can just farm every day for using your dimensional contract tokens that we talked about. As you can see, your dimensional contract tokens caps at 4,500, which is exactly 5 days of not playing anything at all. That means that if you don't play for 4 days, you will still not be capped, so you will not lose any resources since you can run this as long as you have this dimensional contract tokens. And when you get those dimensional contract tokens, you will be able to still get all the rewards you want even if you don't play daily. And that connects us to our next question, which is, can we be relevant even if we are free to play characters? And the short answer is absolutely yes. All the things in this game, with the exception of a very few skins and cosmetics, are absolutely free and farmable. What I mean by that is there is an existing system in the game that allows you to earn Lucent, the premium currency of the game, by selling items that you get from dungeons, from boss drops, and from basically playing the game. What this means is that, for example, I have been selling traits and food and items that I can sell for small amounts, but a continuous amount of lucent. Once I collect the lucent, it will subtract a certain amount, a standard amount for tax. But basically, I earn, since the global release of this game, I have been playing for 200 hours, which I balance out with my work and my life in general. And I have not spent a single dime on this game. And I have earned 3,917 premium currency, which allows me to be basically at the top crop of free-to-play players. Right now, the free-to-play players are around 3,000 combat power to 3,200 combat power, which I am basically in at, despite not being able to log in every day, despite not being able to play every day. And so, yeah, that's the short answer. Yes, you can farm anything and everything in this game. For example, when we open the auction house, we see a lot of items that are in here. If you understand the auction house and how it works, you will be able to just use your playing time and use a lot of efficiency and techniques for you to be able to fuel your character's gears into the best of its abilities without spending a dime. Of course, I'm not saying that this game is not pay to win, because all MMORPGs are play to win, but the fact that you are able to play this game and be at your best without spending a dime is something that is refreshing, especially in an MMORPG genre. Also, I will show a video, hopefully I'll find a video of me playing against characters that are basically whales, and I'm able to kill them and I'm able to damage them, unlike any other MMORPGs wherein the mega whales absolutely do not die at all. Of course, you feel that they're kinda overpowered, but with sheer numbers, they are still able to be defeated. And that's important, because sometimes in MMORPGs, it's frustrating to face whales. And I'm not saying that in here it's not, but it's super less frustrating. It's scalable to a point where it's manageable and it's understandable. So, yeah. Also, the gear system in Throne of Liberty sounds intimidating at first, but it's actually very clear cut and it's not really that complicated. Once you understand it, you will be able to also understand what you can sell and can't sell in the auction house, and just balance your time as you progress in this game. One more thing is that the skill specialization system and the overall combat of Throne of Liberty allows for skill ceilings. There are a lot of skills that you can do, like evades, like invisibility, like dashes, and a lot of movement abilities that can outplay or outmaneuver opponents. Of course, this is not that impactful, especially in Guild vs Guild Wars, wherein numbers will always be better. But if you have very high skill and if you master your own class very well, then you will be rewarded with great results. So the existence of these skills allows for skill ceiling and counters and the overall system of battle in Throne of Liberty, and that means that you can win against whales if you are able to outplay them and if your gear is matched well enough. The gear system of Throne of Liberty offers somewhat of a rock paper scissors, mostly on the evasions and crits and hit chances and whatnot. This is a big topic that I will be making another video on, but what you need to understand now is that you can be able to win against whales if you itemize well. In a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is whales in this game are not unbeatable, although they are still very, very powerful. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're a light spender or a free-to-play character, it's not the end of the line for you if you face any whale or any spenders, as long as you itemize well and you know your character well. What I've talked about in this video is of course summarized and generalized, so there will always be more factors and more niches that you will be able to face when dealing with this kind of topic. But in general, Throne of Liberty balances to respect your time and your money as well as it can, especially compared to the existing MMORPG titles that we have around. So if you are still trying to decide if you will jump on Throne of Liberty, I can say that you must give it a try yourself. Of course, your enjoyment comes first, and just play the main story quest because it's absolutely free to play, and if you like it, then continue playing. If you don't, then stop. Your gameplay will dictate on how much you enjoy the game, and as I've said, if you don't have that much time or you don't intend to spend any money on this game, you will still be able to enjoy all the content this game has to offer. Now, if you're wondering how to still be relevant while not spending any dime or not spending too much time on this game, make sure to follow along my channel because I will be giving guides in the perspective of a light spender or a free-to-play player, and I'm planning to make a second account for us to play together as we progress and understand the intricacies of this game. I will be continuing to make simpler videos that is summarized and shortened for you to be able to enjoy and learn from as much as I can. And if you have any questions, make sure to comment down below, like, follow, and subscribe as we continue to grind together in Throne and Liberty. If you're still watching up to this point, my channel is new, so I really appreciate this. If you enjoy this content, make sure to support me in my next video. See you there. Peace.